a little something a little different today from our normal webinar. So we're going to talk about the benefits of being a member of the NZBCA. This is a bit of a practice run for me. So we have a list of benefits, in fact, a couple of dozen, I would say, and it's growing. But I felt for a little while that the value proposition of the NZBCA wasn't as clear as it could be. And I think this was partly down to the fact that our membership base is quite diverse. It's got new consultants and it's got organizations with 50 people in it. So there's a big variety of the different types of members that we have. We've been going for 18 months. In addition, our value proposition has therefore changed over that time. We've developed more material, the market's changed, the impact of AI is also quite considerable. And we've had considerable shifts in the member base as well. Initially, it was larger companies. Now there's a lot more independence. So we didn't refine the value proposition as we went along. We needed a certain amount of stability, I think, and a consistent story. However, there does come a point where it's time to move forward, and I think we've reached that point as an organization. So we've redesigned and restructured our approach. Now we think we've got a relevant structured value proposition as much as we can at this time. So we've made it clear not just how we support people, but exactly who we support. So today we'll cover the benefits of the new membership scheme. Much of it has been soft launched already, but we're looking to get it to be our official offer from April. So it's structured and hopefully a little bit more future-proofed than we had before. And so before I go on to discuss the different member types, I wanted to talk a little about the high-level strategy behind it. And all of our membership levels, of which I will introduce three, include three main areas of support as well. So something around community, capability enhancement, and commercial support, those three levels. So if we look at community first, our goal is, and always has been, to bring together people who are facing similar issues. Our past networking events have probably not been focused enough on this. We had very different types of people in the room. Not always a bad thing, but I think there are better ways of doing it. Looking at capability, well, our second goal is to educate, but the type of training, the education, the development the members need will differ at each level as well. So we need to recognize that. And then thirdly, the commercial support that we can provide. So that's, we want to focus on helping businesses succeed as well, find work, improve operations, and so on. So like capability, that support also changes dependent on the membership level. So our new aim is to provide an equivalent yet very specific offer for each membership level, tailored to specific needs. So we've got those three areas: community, capability, commercial support, and we also have core benefits that are available for everybody. So who are our members? Who do we help? I think, as I mentioned earlier, initially we aim to support medium-sized consultancies, typically those with 30 to 100 members. I felt that that was where the gap in the market was. However, in the last 18 months, it's a different trend I've spotted. The economy, recent redundancies, the rise of AI, we've got lots of new starters joining us. And those people are potentially very senior people who have decided that they want to be in consultancy, or they have to be in consultancy because they've got no choice at the moment. So we're finding a very different kind of demographic. So we've created an emerging practices level for those people. We also found out that as we went through and when we kind of learned about what people want, we found that some of the bigger consultancies, the more established or the senior members, were not always the right fit for the community. So we're based very much around community sharing, a very values-driven approach, an approach ultimately that money isn't everything. And we found some members were very protective of their knowledge, not willing to share as much, and usually at the bigger end as well. So people have been through the mill, they'd been through and they'd grown their businesses and needed to be, understandably, quite protective. So we found that was happening quite a lot as well. So now we've got these three levels. We've got emerging practices. So those are individuals who are new to independent consultancy. often very experienced, bringing experience from their previous field, but very new to running their own consulting business. And this one replaces what we call the associate level. Then we've got the Consultancy Builders. You want to just click on, Natalie? I think we're on to the next couple of clicks. We've got Consultancy Builders, and these members are more established. Typically, they've run their own business for a few years, more than a solid grasp of the basics of consultancy, but now they're looking to increase their impact. And this level replaces our former practitioner level. And then finally, we've got leaders and organizations. And these members are the ones who are beginning to scale, or they've already quite successfully scaled their operations, either contractors or employing their own staff. And this level is going to cover both what we have, the professional and the organizational levels that we had before. So hopefully this new structure allows us to better support members at each stage now of the consulting journey. So before I go on to the benefits for each level, I'll quickly run through the core benefits. And the core benefits are for everyone. Everyone receives these. All members can attend monthly webinars. And if you wish, you can also present at these sessions. We're always looking for presenters. Looking ahead to 2026, and this year as we go through our Tools and Partnership Initiative, we'll see announcements of various partnerships. We're in conversations with about 5 different organizations, some tools, some other organizations as well. So both, we're trying to make that as New Zealand focused as possible, but there are some international organizations as well. Members will have the opportunity to use the NZBCA branding on their websites, other materials, proposals, and actually this has already proven quite a useful way for some of our members to enhance their brands, showing that they've got access to a much wider ecosystem. There's some success stories around this. The Boutiq Academy, or in our knowledge base, what we originally called our knowledge base, is another resource that's available, probably currently underutilized, I would say. And in this Boutiq Academy, there are hundreds of educational items, guides, processes, videos, courses, and so on. All of them very specific to running a consultancy. And I like to think not available anywhere else in the world, so quite exclusive. Regarding in-person events, last year we ran more than a dozen. This year there'll be slightly fewer, but they will be more focused and to support the individual communities. We've got a dozen. Nearly a dozen now, we've lost one, but nearly a dozen advisors available. And our advisors you can pick up the phone effectively and call them, or you can ask us to put you in touch with them. The amount of advice time you get as part of your membership does vary by level, but it's up to 10 hours per year. We can, and I do spend a fair amount of time facilitating individual one-on-one meetings between members. And finally, we have something called Boutiq Central, which are our central portal for most of the benefits, which we launched just before or just after Christmas. And Natalie's going to give a demonstration of this a little bit later. So those are the core benefits. Let's now look at the specific benefits for each of those 3 levels, and starting with the emerging practices. So I think I mentioned again, so our previous naming focused more on individual professionals, associate, practitioner, professional. However, we did realize that actually we're an organization that supports companies, organizations, and the commercial side of consultancy. So less about the individual and more about the organization. So we hope that the name Emerging Practices reflects that. And clients at this level often need something of a kick start. So they may not be aware of all the steps involved in setting up their own consultancy, or they may, and they simply need help in doing it. So to support this, we've got a specific self-led AI-enhanced 6-step training program called Boutiq Launchpad, which is both training and AI assistant. And it helps you navigate the process of setting up a consultancy, and also helps create the necessary elements, such as your value proposition, and helps you define services. It's quite an extensive piece of software. In addition, we've also got the Emerging Practices package, and this is a new thing we're adding in. That provides further support. So it's a kickoff kit, effectively, and gives these new starters access to key templates, things like proposals, project completion reports, and so on. But importantly, it also includes 3 structured calls with specific advisors. So, and they're going to help you define your offer, your marketing strategy, and contracts. And then finally, the community-focused offering is the emerging practices cohort, and that brings everything together. So it involves running monthly sessions, running for about 6 months, where you collaborate with others in your cohort, and they help you improve your offer, address any challenges you might encounter, with the help of a supportive group who are in the same position as you are. So we move to Consultancy Builders, our second level. This option is designed for those who are more experienced, perhaps with a few years under their belt. It suits individuals working on their own, or, as quite often happens, with a partner. So if you operate as a partnership, your partner can also be included in the membership. So within this membership, you gain access to, firstly, the Builders Collective. And this is another community similar to the Emerging Practices cohort, but it operates differently. Instead of a fixed series of 6 sessions, the Builders Collective will meet once a month, and the topics for the sessions are decided by the attendees themselves. But it could include, and I'm sure will include, topics like, how are you using AI? How might you raise rates? And so on. A second specific benefit for the builders is a dedicated resource that we have nearly completed. It's a guide which contains 50 consultancy-focused AI prompts. So covering the full range of lifecycle activities, right the way from strategy through to delivery. And these prompts can help you define your service, define your offer, codify your knowledge, speed up your sales process. They're actually it's a very extensive set of prompts we've developed. And then finally, after 3 months of membership and time spent engaging with other members, you can request access to be on the NZBCA marketplace. And the marketplace is our portal that clients can access details about all the organizations who are in the NZBCA, and they can directly connect with those NZBCA consultancies, helping you win new business. Now, I have to say, we've just started to see the benefits of this. We've just had 2 inquiries in the last couple of weeks. There's time to go as we have to build that, but it's certainly, the message is beginning to get out there. So moving on to our top level, we offer the leaders and organizations level. So that's designed for those who've already grown their consultancy, leading their own teams of consultants. Now, I think our offer probably tops out at organizations who maybe have reached the 50, 60, 70 mark. Anything beyond that requires a different set of help entirely, and we're not necessarily geared around that. But it's anything from maybe 3, 4, 5 people right up to that kind of 40, 50 in terms of organizational size that this is prime for. So the core of this offering is just starting next week, the Leaders Circle. So similar to the Builders Collective, it's going to involve a set of monthly sessions. And those sessions, again, like the Builders Collective, focus on important topics for that particular group. So next week's session is on how do we take advantage of the market in 2026? What's our plans? But we can cover topics such as succession management, exit planning, how you use ecosystems, and so on, all in a very supportive and, I have to mention, confidential environment. Beyond the Leaders Circle, there's 2 other specific benefits. We've got specialized training and an organizational health check. So the training we provide is quite distinct. It's an online leadership training course with a specific focus on consultancy. It means it covers strategy, covers various leadership styles, also specific financial management relevant to operating a consultancy. It's particularly useful for new directors, new partners, people who maybe are at the principal level or pushing into that kind of organizational leadership position, but don't necessarily have the experience. And finally, we've got this organizational health check, which is, while it's still in development, is an extensive self-audit covering 8 areas involved in running a consultancy, a larger scale consultancy in particular, including leadership, the people side of the business, client management, overall business operations. So that is a quick run through of the benefits. So before I hand over to Natalie to do the demonstration of the Boutiq Central, let me summarize. I'm going to put the benefits screen on. Yep. So this is the detailed benefits screen. Slide provides a summary of what we offer. So we've got the 3 levels: emerging practices, consultancy builders, and leaders and organizations. And we've got each level gets access to the core benefits, but also specific community, capability tools, and commercial support. And that concludes my element of the presentation. I'm happy to take any questions now, or we can address them after Natalie's finished her part of the presentation. Let's move on, shall we, Natalie?
Yeah. I'm just bringing up Boutiq Central then. Moving on. So this is our Boutiq Central, which is our home base where we've put everything in one place. So when you log in, you will see this screen, and it shows all our available tools and programs together. So level 1 has these 8 functions, and level 2 has a few more, and level 3 more again. So we head through level 1 and look at these 8 different functions and find out a little bit more about them. So the Boutiq Launchpad, this is our 6-step program where you work at your own pace. It's an interactive structured learning program. So if we go into it, this landing page gives you a brief summary of each step. So it starts with your personal and business goals, defining your offer, marketing, sales and contracts, delivery, and knowledge. So as you work through it, you can do as many iterations on your work as you like. And if I click into Enter Dashboard, you can see all the headings and subheadings, and you work systematically down and your progress is tracked. So you start at the top and work your way down, and you get a structured path to follow. So there's quite a bit involved there. The platform back home. So the Bain Boutiq AI Navigator, that is our AI-powered advisory tool, and it's trained on the NZBCA knowledge base. So you can ask Bain for guidance on topics related to your business, things like developing proposals and client issues. It's a bit like using Gemini. The NZBCA Marketplace, here you can join, put your application in to join the marketplace. And Dan talked about that earlier. So that's aiming to strengthen your pipeline, and it's looking at connecting clients with the NZBCA consultancies. Book an advisor. Here you can request a meeting with one of our 10 advisors. So when you go in here, you can search for an advisor by their name or their role, or you can filter out words. You can read their bios. And so if we decide that we want some help with marketing and branding, if we click on marketing and branding, we get Terry popping up, and you can read more about her. Then if you want to request a meeting, just click on request a meeting, fill in all your details as much as you can. And at the moment, this then sends an email to us at NZBCA, and we coordinate with the advisor. We're giving them all the details, and depending how they work, you get your meeting scheduled, and any back and forths continue with you and the advisor. And then it's up to the advisor and the person if there's any future work that you want to work through and pay for separately. Okay, so sometimes you might get 2 advisors for the same filter, and you can just choose which one that you might want to find out more and work with. Okay. Back through the platform home. The proposal evaluator. Here it's just a simple upload of a file and you get your client proposal evaluated. It gives you scores and improvement suggestions. Boutique branding. This gives you access to our NZBCA logos and the marketing materials. Either you just download or you can select mode and choose up to 10 files at a time and download these documents. Exit. Back to upload. Platform home. Okay, so where are we up to? Boutiq Academy. This takes you through to our Thinkific platform, which requires you to be logged in. And here is where you access the resources, the courses, the forum, the webinars, and the newsletters. So the knowledge base, that's where the hundreds of guides, articles, templates, checklists, and lots more in there. Courses, that has a variety of learning programs with videos and downloadable content. The membership forum, it's a place where you could interact with other members, just send messages and the likes. Webinars, so this is where you can access all our previous webinars, and they can also be found on our YouTube channel. And boutique briefings is where you can access all our previous newsletters as well that we send out once a month. Back to this tab. Right, and finally the website evaluator. You can paste in your own personal website address and get your website evaluated. So if we go down, click Access Website Evaluator, and then you either have the credibility checklist or the strategic growth audit when it loads up for me. And you just, you can obviously do more than one website. So if you click on whichever you choose, the credibility checklist, enter your email address, the website, you can just paste in your website here and then start your evaluation. It should take about 30 seconds to 60 seconds or a bit more depending on how big your website is. Our one took 2.5 minutes for that to download. Yeah, so then it comes back with a results page, a bit of a summary, and you can download your own report on your website, which I have done, and then you can print off this as you like, and you can see you'll get an overall score, bit of a summary, insights, actions, the dashboard with the 4 pillars that gives you marks out of 5, and each pillar goes into more details and gives you a score. So we work down. Second pillar, service offering and engagement, authority, credibility and trust, and you can see we've got 0s out of 5 here because we haven't got our social proof and case studies yet. So there's something we're focusing on. And then the 4th pillar with the color codes, marks out of 5, and then your recommendation. So where do you go from here? So you've got a few recommendations, and it also shows you all the websites that were scraped to give you this analysis from. All right, so that's the Boutiq Central for you.